Not that many years ago, this was a great paper company, part of the Strathmore complex, begun by Horace Moses. We're going to take a walk around in this factory, not too far. I've been given permission by a friend to kind of go in and check it out. I'm going to shut the gate as I go in so the local constabulary won't pinch me. They can be aggressive here. And the reason they're aggressive is because not many years ago, this site became a hangout spot for the local Ute. You know, the Ute got in here. And when they got in here, they messed around and nobody got hurt, but they burned it down. So we're kind of walking around in a ruin. I've known men that worked here. A couple of buddies that fished with me for years worked here. So what we're doing is we're going up on this platform to take a view of one of the gems of Western Massachusetts, which is the Westfield River running through the Woronoco Gorge. There you can see, look at this, as we ascend the factory under the slopes of Toccoa Mountain, known locally as Rattlesnake Mountain. And you can see this has definitely overgrown. Bittersweet has apparently taken root. This is something else. Wow. What a vantage. So here we are on the top of the platform. I could go to the top of the smokestack, but I'm not going to. This went out of business. Oh, geez, I think in the early 2000s. I don't know the date. But the factory complex extends way over there, and that's where the fire was. And that burned. Kids were basically here having fun. Something, either a pyromaniac or an accident, led to two different major mill fires. And then there's another older mill on the other side of the river, which also had a mill fire. And there's the reason that this mill is here at all. The Westfield River, the main branch. The three branches come together in Huntington, the west, the middle, and the east, and they proceed on their way down to join Connecticut River down in West Springfield. And you can see in the distance from this vantage point the trucks crossing the big highway bridge. That's the Mass Turnpike right there, and you can see here they are going up that really steep hill. Don't get behind one of them. The trucks are supposed to use the inside lane. What a beautiful sight this is, though. Toccoa Mountain up above. We wait here long enough, we'll see bald eagles, blue heron, and everybody else. And I'm looking down into the big, what would that be? What was that used for? Filtration pool of some kind. This factory made paper. They would take water out of the Westfield River and they would use it in the paper making process. They made really good paper. They made linen rag, artist quality paper that they sold all over the world. And NAFTA came along and they were able to hold on for a little while, but you can see the result. You see the gap where the Westfield River meanders down to join the Connecticut. You know what's interesting about this site? This is where Quabbin Reservoir was originally intended to be placed. Well, the first site of Boston's water supply, their new water supply, which ended up being Quabbin. Because if they had built it here, it would have been really difficult to get the water out to Boston, because it would have had to go across the Connecticut River with an aqueduct. And they decided that it was just too much work, and they chose Quabbin, its current location, instead, destroying portions of 7 towns in the process, completely flooding 5, I think it is. Had they built the dam there, where you see the bridge, they would have created a reservoir that would have taken out Woronoco, Russell, Crescent Mills, Huntington, Chester. Would have had quite an effect out here. I think it would have got as far as Beckett, but it would have been a huge reservoir, 25, 30 miles long. Just enjoying the view up here. But we're going to get down there and we're going to see if we can pick anything up. That's a good area to drag a streamer, to throw a dry fly, or do a little Euro-nymphing, although the river looks like it's a little high right now. So the river looks pretty high, so we're going to take a little walk down here and just check on the level before I put my gear on. Because if it is too high, I'll just go somewhere else. Westfield River has a steep drainage basin, so it can go up and down real quick. To be very careful. You see these beautiful silver maples, the basswood. You got a whole bunch of those guys. What are these called? Black locusts. Black locusts right here. Grapevines, big old oaks. You find some gorgeous trees down on the riverbank. Nobody's been down here. Yeah, this river is way up. It's the kind of height where you gotta be careful. I'm going to just take a look at it. There might be somebody coming up. Some of our friends rising. This pool has always got fish. There's always somebody in here. The question is, can you get them to cooperate? Here's the beach. It's not that bad. But you can see, I would say it is quite a bit higher. I'm not going to be able to walk across that. I mean, I probably could, but I'm not going to. So I was down here by the old Strathmore Mill number 4 back in April or May, and I did my little trip up the top of that mill then. And to end the video, it was at the pool right down here that my brother Steve and I did our dive. So we're diving right below this old mill. Now, when I talk about this mill, understand this mill was in business, this mill system, for years and years and years. And they weren't always the best neighbors. I mean, that mill used to dump its tanks into the Westfield River, and I'd be driving to college, and the river would be magenta. It'd be yellow. It'd be purple. Seriously, the whole river, because they'd clean out their vats when they were making colored paper. So that was not cool. The Clean Water Act of, I think it was 1989, stopped that. They had to do it differently. I don't know how they did it, but the river stopped changing colors after I got out of college. And yet the mill didn't survive. It ended up out of business. And we just saw what Woronoco looks like today. It's seen, as they say, better days. So these mills had a place, and I think maybe still do have a place, if they're run properly according to the specs and regulations that exist in every particular state and federally. But without these mills, we end up with the poverty that we see, the absentee landlordism, the wreck that these communities become as we take a look at the beginning of the Rust Belt, which really starts in Lowell, Mass, and creeps its way west all the way to Wisconsin today. Once upon a time, there were jobs created here, well-paying jobs, and the children of the people that had those jobs went off to college, and who knows what they're doing now. But I've been teaching for 37 years, and I wonder how many of my kids would love a job like they could have had in that power plant or in that paper factory. And they don't have them around here anymore. So, something I got to tell you, you should think about it as an American. Everybody isn't made to go to college. I did. You might have. But there's nothing the matter with the trades, and there's nothing the matter with a great job in a factory working in the second sector of manufacturing or even the primary sector.